What's going on? You like that new intro? The Breakdown Hoedown. That's what I'm going to start calling this just because I like it. And I got an electric intro, both figuratively and literally. What's up, new guy? I'm the DegeNeditor75. I'm a PGA DFS content creator who is here to help you get a little bit better at PGA DFS. If you're here for picks and you want all that, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you there's a million other channels that do that, so you can fuck off now and go watch them. But if you're here to learn a little bit about the process, get better at playing the game, then you might have just found the right channel. If you find you like the cut of my jib over about the next 20 minutes, check out that schedule right there. Of course, it's Monday. You're watching The Breakdown Hoedown. Tomorrow, my newsletter goes out, which if you haven't signed up for that, it's in the description. Sign up for it. You get a free week on my website. And, of course, Wednesday, the emergency stream, 7 o'clock, Lord's time zone. Be there for that. It will have all the final things you need to know about weather, ownership, everything you could possibly need to know to get you ready for week-long, a.k.a. kicking the nuts. And then, of course, I do Showdown Hoedown live at the end of the round on both Friday and Saturday for round 3 and round 4. Come check it out. Let's get going. This week, they are at the 3M, which I would be remiss if I didn't say is where the live final is going to be. So good luck to my dude Jay Bannock trying. He has a 1 in 40 chance at $1 million. I hope he wins. A lot. I'll be cheering for him. Just choked on my own spit. Always a great start to the show. TPC Twin Cities, okay? So TPC is a regular TPC course. That means, Tournament Players Club? I don't even know what the hell it stands for. I just know that they're very common. We see a lot of these TPC courses on the PGA Tour, and they are all kind of the same. I mean, if I'm being honest, there's a couple good ones. Sawgrass is good, but I think most of them kind of fucking suck. Bob. That's the answer. This is a par 71 course. It is up in Minneapolis, if you don't know. Actually, I think it's in Blaine, which is just outside of Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's a par 71 with your standard 3 par 5s, 4 par 3s, and the course is, it's kind of bland. There's not a lot that's special about it, but I will tell you this. It is a course where there can be a lot of blow-ups, okay? I think you're going to incorrectly hear a lot of people say that this is a birdie fest, but if you go look at the past 4 years, because they've only played this course the past 4 years. It started in 2019. This will be the 5th year they've had this tournament. It is not the birdie fest that people think that it is. It has gotten progressively harder every single year, okay? So I think you're going to probably see a winning score around minus 15. It's definitely not going to be carnage like we had last week at the Open, but it's also not going to be TPC Craig Ranch or anything like that. You're not going to see a minus 25 winner. I would highly even doubt you see a minus 20 winner. I think you're going to see it right around 15, which to me already starts to, narrow down the kind of players that I want to see when I look at the final winning score. Where the scores get you is the big crooked numbers, right? There's 6s and 7s all over this course because with water coming into play on 15 of the 18 holes, you're going to hear a lot of ga-boomk whenever they have the microphones up because that's going to be your guy's ball going in the fucking water and you're going to be tilting balls. So just get around that. So that right there probably already leads me to the first thing I want to consider, and that is off the tee this week, right? If you have a guy that sprays it off the tee, you're going to be hitting 3 from 380 yards back because you're going to have to go drop it where it crossed the water line, right? So there's going to be a lot of nasty numbers up there if you are wonky off the tee. Off the tee and approach this week. This is a true ball striker's course. Around the green, doesn't really make any difference. It might be the least important course all year where I factor in around the greens. I'm not even going to look at it. I want true ball strikers, okay? Ball strikers is approach plus off the tee. Don't confuse that with tee to green, which is off the tee, approach, and around the green factored in. I want true ball strikers here. Guys who have been playing well off the tee and guys who have had strong approach recently. Those are good ball strikers. Putting also does not seem to make a big difference here. You have huge greens, but they tend to be very flat, right? So I really just want guys who can putt well on fast, bent grass greens because we're back to bent grass, and I want guys who can avoid 3 putts, right? Because these greens are big enough that you will see some 3 putts, especially on fast greens. It's easy to run it by 6 or 7 feet and miss the comebacker, right? So if you can avoid 3 putts and you can avoid putting it in the drink, this is a course that you can easily make 5 birdies around. But there's also doubles and triples hanging out around there. So I'm going to play those guys that are trying to avoid it. If you want to see a quick breakdown, you can see right here, just looking at the top 10 finishers last year, look, around the green, literally made no fucking difference, but approach and off the tee did. Putting's always going to matter because the top 10 guys are going to be guys who are rolling in the rock, but that we know that putting more than any of these stats is the most variant, so I'm going to keep that down. Ball striking, look at that. Look at the ball striking versus short game, huge disparity. But what I really found interesting is how much guys who finish in the top 10, they get it done on the par 5s. So even though there's only 3 par 5s this week, getting there and getting those birdies on those 3 par 5s is super important. You can see the birdie rate on the par 5s are 39%, 50%, and 33%. So you need to be getting at least 2 of those 3, preferably all 3. You need to be scoring on those par 5s. Outside of that, the scoring holes are some of these shorter par 4s. We have 2 under 400 yards, and we have 4 more that are between 450. So those are 6 scoring holes. And then the par 3s come in from a variety of ranges, with the shortest being at 177, which is definitely the most gettable of them, to 204, to 228, to 202. Okay, so those are those par 3s, those long par 3s, and a couple long par 4s, and of course getting in the trouble off the tee in the water is where the bogeys will be had at this course. But there are still plenty of holes to make birdies. The shorter par 4s and the 3 par 5s are where you can get it. So basically, don't put up a crooked number on the hard holes and go get me about 4 or 5 birdies on the easy holes. That's all you got to do to beat this course, okay? The proximity range, you can see, weirdly enough, a perfect little just step chart there that you're going to see lots and lots of long approaches. If you look at 150 plus, that makes up over 60% of all the shots. There's going to be a lot of mid to long irons for these guys. It's not going to be a wedge fest, right? And so, like, right there, that already makes me think, well, fucking, I don't want to play Cam Young because he's a wedge guy, right? I can't wait to see the pricing on old Cameron Young. Okay. Other things, driving accuracy here tends to be more accurate. It's not that the fairways are super wide. It's just you see a lot of clubbing down at this course to take water out of play. You're going to see a lot of long irons, driving irons, and 3-woods off the tee here because people do not want to get in trouble. But the negative effect of that is it leaves them longer seconds in. You can see that here in the stats. You can also see the green and regulation percentage at this course is much higher. With the big greens, there's no surprise. It's very easy to get on in a green and regulation at this course. And then because of that, of course, you're going to see very few shots whenever you're hitting the green over 70% of the time. Around the green's just not going to be that important, right? So that's what we're looking at here. These big greens, even though they're big, you see less 3-putts here simply because the greens are pretty flat and they're not too brutal. Weirdly enough, driving distance really long here, but that's probably because the course plays a little long, right? And they are at a little bit of altitude, which I didn't know Minneapolis was at altitude, right? So going from there, if you want to go back and look at some historical conditions, you see those first couple years they played here, 2019 and 2020, very easy scoring conditions. That's where it got the reputation of being a birdie fest, right? But when you go look at 21 and 20, you start to see a bunch of average rounds on scoring. And last year we had 3 rounds that were classified as difficult. So this does seem to be a course that is trending towards being more difficult. Why was it more difficult? Well, the easiest thing is the greens were playing super fast, right? They went from fast all the way up to lightning. And the other big defense that this course has is it can get a little breezy there in the Minneapolis-Blaine area. And when it does, this course, it doesn't take much to get your ball just to blow 10 yards to the right, and now you win the drink and you're looking a double bogey right in the face, right? So this is why it just seems like every year this course trends to be more and more difficult. That's why I do not think you're going to see a typical birdie fest. I think you're going to see a winning score somewhere in the minus 15 range, and you're going to see plenty of mother fathers implode, okay? If you want to look at the leaders last year, how they got it done, essentially you're going to need to make some putts at this course. But what was undeniable is just look at the ball striking of almost everybody in the top 10. The only notable exception to that was Danny Willett, who just was short game fire, but I never want to count on that. Every single person that finished in the top 10 of this tournament last year picked up over 9 strokes ball striking. That's insane, right? That is as much proof as I could show you as you want ball strikers. And honestly, Finau, Grillo, Hoagie, Piercy, Grayson Sigg, these are like your prototypical ball strikers. And no surprise, those are guys who've played well there, right? Who is a guy that is accurate off the tee, good with their long irons, and can't putt for shit? Emiliano Grillo, and he really does well here, right? So guys like that are the kind of guys I'm going to be targeting. I want ball strikers this week. I'm all about it. If you want to know the kind of guys who have the best course history here, Tony Finau, Adam Hadwin, interestingly enough, Bryce Garnett, Sung Jae, Adam Long, Emiliano Grillo, Cam Davis, Cheesesteak Hoagie. We got those are the kind of guys who play well here, right? So from there, I'm going to be looking at the weather. As always, if you want a little early weather, we're looking at and you can see right now, 100 degrees is what it's going to get up to Thursday. There's not been much rain in this area, so I think this might be the first time we see this course kind of baked out, because you just can't get to 100 degrees multiple days in a row with no rain and it not be a little crusty. So I'm thinking, we're going to, Thursday afternoon, if those winds come in and it does get up to 100 degrees, it's going to be crusty AF. Whereas when you look at Friday, you can already see the winds are more sustained throughout the day, but look, it only gets up to about the low 80s. So yes, it'll of course still be baked out, but much less so on that day, right? So early weather strikes me as like it could be spicy this week. I mean, if the winning score is -12, I think you could see like I think that this the whole narrative about this being a birdie fest could be very, very much overblown, and you're going to see some real brutal conditions out there. And by brutal, I mean like 1 over par each round, which for this course, that's basically the U.S. Open, right? That is the course breakdown from the Breakdown Hoedown, but there's still plenty more to go. We got to go look at the contest this week. But before we do, make sure you like and subscribe and turn on your little notifications. We go live 3 times a week now, and you want to get those notifications when we do it. Me and the editor are just 2 independent fucks, so every time you drop a like, subscribe, and tell a friend, it helps us out so much. We appreciate it. The channel continues to grow, and we couldn't do it without you, you motherfucker. All right, let's get over to the contest for this week, and this happens a lot. After there's a major, DraftKings loves to put out good contests because they know people still be getting a whole bunch of money up in their account, and they still want to play some golf. So because of that, even though a good amount of the plebs are gone this week, we are left over with really great contests this week, and I'm super excited to play them. The main $25 this week is awesome. $1 million prize pool, only 20% to first, second place is half of that, and 10th place is 133rd. That's as good as you're ever going to see in the lottery. It is going to be hard to not want to max enter this bad boy. That is a awesome contest. I don't normally promote the lottery, and yes, you still got to beat 47,000 people, which you're not going to do, but at least it mathematically makes more sense. At least you're not just straight pissing in the wind when you play it this week. Same thing with the big $5, just a really good payout structure, only 14% to first. However, second place is only 40% of first. Don't love that. 10th place, 133rd, that's solid, right? So that one is okay too. But then you got all these other tournaments. If you're a mid to high level player, the signature hole this week is the nuts. First place, 20%. Second place, 60% of first. And 10th place, 1/20th. That is, that's nice. That's nice. The $200 single entry, they've just basically started making this 25% of the entire player pool, and it's really made me lose interest. I love single entries. I love 3 maxes, but I don't love 25% to first. So, this $200 single entry kind of getting on my nerves, Bob. As always, the 254 max is just a great format. The 20 max, if you're wanting to play $50 this week, make it 60 and go play the $3 20 max. Great payout structure. 30,000 people is a lot, but it's also, very sustainable. I think you're going to get a lot of min cashes in that. You hit a good lineup, you might even win a few $100, and every once in a while you might win the motherfather. Okay. If I'm going to play in a single entry, I would much rather play in this $100 single entry. Just look at this format of this one versus the format of the $200 single entry. Notice that only 10% going to first. Second place is 66% of first, and 10th place is oh my God, that's 1/13th. My God, no, 1/7. Jesus, that's great. That is great. That's 13% of first, not 10. That's incredible. Of course, the $10 18 max, my baby, is always a great one, right? 10% to first. Love this one. Can't go wrong there. $12 single entries. The $1 20 max, $5 single entries. Oh, look at that. They even got the 153 max again. I thought they only did that for the majors. $33 single entry is great. What else do we got? Anything else? The $3 3 max, the $75 3 max, the $8 3 max. Go play in Pat Mayo's $15 contest. It's a $15 3 max with no rake. That's legit the best contest out there. But of course, the other one you should play in is mine right there. 1,000 entries. Go get in it now. Reserve your spots. I'm not trying to sweat this shit come Friday night. The link for this is in the description. I'll give you a big shout out on the Wednesday thing, on the Wednesday show. It has a great flat payout structure, reduced rake, a huge shout out, and if you're flying my flag, I'll build a ticket with you if you finish in the top 5, okay? So go get in the Showdown Hoedown Listener League right now. Let's talk about some pricing reactions, but before we do, make sure you go check out my site, DGen75.com. This is the last week that prices, you can lock in the cheaper prices. They will be going up come August 1st, so if you get it now, your price will stay the same forever. Get on the cheaper price. It has the best community out there, that I can assure you, because if you're a piece of shit, I'll boot your ass because I don't need your money. And from there, we have all kinds of winners. If you don't believe me, just check out the collage that will be in the newsletter manana. All right, let's get to pricing reactions. I have tried not to look at this. I did have somebody tell me that they did not do the $5,500 pricing this week, and I've already reached out to DraftKings and said, what the fuck? I really enjoyed the $5,500 pricing, the quote-unquote dynamic pricing. And the answer is from DraftKings, was that they might bring it back, but this week the field was not deep enough to justify it. So I think the next time you see a deep field with all the stars, I think we might see that again. Maybe the FedEx St. Jude's, when there's 125 guys, maybe we'll see it again there. I really really enjoyed the more dynamic pricing. This week they couldn't do it because there's just not enough depth in the field to justify the pricing difference between Cam Young and whatever slapdicks are down there, right? So that's why we're back to our $6,000 at minimum. Just looking, I had not looked at this, but I just saw Cam Young is the most expensive guy. Fucking laugh out loud. If he is over $11,000, may I fall out of my chair laughing. 10,900. You go play all the Cam Young you want. You saw what that fraud did on round 4. Look, I'm just telling you, Cam Young, we want to believe that he's unbroken. And I do feel like Cam Young is trending towards being unbroken. But he still don't have it. He's still just a showdown guy. He's going to have 2 good rounds, and he's going to have 2 shit-the-bed rounds. And when I think of a guy that can get, yes, off the tee is his strength. And I agree that is a very important weapon to have this week. But he's also not great with mid to long irons, right? And he has been putting like shit. He just never seems to putt well. So 10,900, please let him be chalk. I'll fade him. If he's 10%, of course I'll play him, but I'm lining up to fade him if he's going to be chalk. Rony Renow, as Scooby-Doo would say, he's really been sucking balls. I mean, he's just broke, but never forget, he did win this last year. He is definitively a better golfer than every other person in this tournament. He is. Even when he's playing bad, he's still better than all these other golfers, okay? 10,600. Going to be, do you want to be late to the Tony Finau party or early to the Tony Finau party? Because he will be back. We just don't know when. Sung Jae finally started to show a pulse at the Open. I'm still not sure if he's there, but man, this just seems like team broken guy up here. Every guy over 10,000, I think you could say is quote unquote broke. Because Decky, even though he doesn't seem as broke as these other guys, he's always kind of broke because he's a fragile piece of shit. But there is the fact that he really just kind of had meddling results for a long time now. No spike finishes. But you got to say this. Decky is a ball striker, and if this is a ball striker course, I think we got to be open to him. I think that weirdly enough, guys like Grillo, Straka, Woodland, Jaeger, these guys are overpriced relative, right? Grillo should not be within $300 of some of these elite golfers, right? But he's playing well. He has great course history. And honestly, these top guys aren't playing well. So you're going to have to pay a premium for guys like Grillo and Straka. And honestly, Aberg shouldn't even be this high. These 9K guys are overpriced. And because of that, I think you're going to see it keep their ownership down. Straka is playing great. Straka's probably playing the best golf of his life. But people don't want to pay $9,500 for Sepp Straka, okay? I'm just going to tell you that. So I would imagine that Grillo, Straka, Aberg, Thomas, Woodland, Jaeger, Cam Davis, I mean, literally every person in the 9Ks, I think is going to certainly be under 15%, with some of them being under 10%. But then I have to ask the question, well, if no one's going to own them, who the fuck is everybody going to play? And I don't know the answer. I really don't see, none of these guys are jumping off the page. Maybe Aberg, because he's such a masher off the tee. Maybe he'll be the one guy that gets some steam here. People want to be early to the party. But man, it is bad out there. It's a tough scene, all right? So I right off the bat, I have no idea who people are going to play up top. I have to imagine Finau will get some ownership simply just because he's a more talented golfer. And at 10,600, he just seems a little cheap. He should probably be more like 11,100 in this field. Moving on from there, let's get into the 8,000s. What do we got here? JJ Spawn at 8,800. What are we doing? JJ Spawn is more expensive than Tigala and Keith Mitchell. What the fuck are you doing, DraftKings? You go play all the JJ Spawn. I try to look like Jason Day wannabe you want to do, okay? I'm not doing it. Hey, that fucking loser Patrick Rogers letting everybody down. Shocking. I am shocked that Patrick Rogers let you down. That was almost as shocking as Rory not getting it done this weekend at the Open. Truly shocking that those guys who are champions would not get it done. All right, from there, now we just start to get into all of our solid PGA players who are normally 7,300, but because it's a weaker field, they're going to be 8,500 this week. Poston, Hubbard, Lukey Gloves. I got to tell you, I'm a believer now. If Lukey Gloves can putt, I'm in because that guy's always been a ball striker, okay? I am done shitting on Lucas Glover. I might play 100% of that motherfather. Vince Norman, the Viking, been playing pretty well. That's with 2 wars, okay? Oh man, First, Chocolate. Aaron Rye is going to be chalky as fuck. He should be every bit of. How is Aaron Rye $900 cheaper than JJ Spawn? What in the fuck? That's Aaron Pumpernickel, DraftKings. Put some respect on his name. 7,900 Aaron Rye, a guy who's been playing well, who can ball strike. If he's not 20%, I'll eat my hat on the air. I got to imagine he's going to be chalky, and I pray he's not because I want to play some Aaron Pumpernickel. Give me all that Pumpernickel. From there, Eric Cole at 7,800, Nikolai Højgaard. Okay, now I see my chalky guys. So so far, here's going to be the build. You're going to grab Young or Finau, and then you're going to come down here. Rye, Højgaard, Eric Cole, Batia. People are going to play this upper 7K range. This is going to be chalk city. The Oompa Loompa Ryan Fox. You don't think people aren't going to play Ryan Fox at a course where ball striking matters? Get the fuck out of here. And if you're like, he played in the Open last week, him going to have jet lag. Okay, I think Ryan Fox is pretty used to going back and forth between England and America. Okay. 5 time zones, 6 time zones maybe. He'll fucking survive. Okay, plus he's an Oompa Loompa. They're not affected by time. That's a fact. Look it up. Cheesesteak hoagie at 7,500. Give me all that cheesesteak. Maybe I'm just hungry, but cheesesteak seems really appropriate right now. Man, this 7K range is bonkers, right? These guys are, tell me, just look me in the eye right now and tell me, how is JJ Spawn literally any better than any golfer here in the 7Ks? You think he's better than Rye, Højgaard, Cole, Pendrith, Batia, Fox, Suh, Hoagie? You really think he's better? Because on the best day of his life, he's the same golfer as those guys. The best day of his life, yet he's $900 more or $1,300 more. Just laughable. And I keep picking on JJ Spawn, okay? Maybe because he's Spawn of Satan. But I will tell you this. It's not just him. I don't think Hadwin's noticeably better than any of those guys. You know Patrick Rogers ain't better than any of those guys. Get the fuck out of here. All right. So then who do we have here? Quest. Quest is a ball striker. Might have to check out that guy. Let's see. Garrick Higo, he's just a little too wonky off the tee for me. He'll have at least 3 double bogeys. You heard it here first. Brandon Wu. What? Man, Brandon Wu. It's 7,300. He's like talented, but he's kind of been playing like garbage, bruh. Taylor Montgomery, remember when everybody, a year ago, or not even a year ago, 7 months ago, he would have been 9,500 in this field, and everybody would have played him. Now he's going to be 7,200. Not a soul's going to play him. Nick Hardy, Grayson Sigg. I mean, these are real players here, right? And you get them at 7,200. It's going to be very easy to build a lineup you like this week. And you're like, ooh, I feel good about this one. But the truth is going to be is like, you shouldn't feel good about anything because there's going to be some implosions on this course with water coming into 15 different holes. Let's see. Anybody else? Dylan Wu at 7,000. I have to imagine he'll be popular. That's got to be SH Kim, although Siwoo Kim probably deserves a $7,000 price tag after that Friday round, you piece of shit. Joel Dahman, man, that's crazy. He's down to 6,800. He's like, long term, he's a way better golfer than all these guys, but I guess on recent form, you kind of got to go with that. Anybody else really jumping? I mean, most of these guys, I think, are about where they should be. These are upper 6K golfers here. None of these guys are really standing out as gross. I love these fields, man. I know all these golfers. I enjoy playing all these golfers. These slime balls down here, these guys are my jam. Anybody else really jumping out? Did they misprice anybody? Armageddon? Who the hell's old Van Armageddon? Never seen that name before. No idea who that is, Bob. Gonna have to do some research. All right. So big takeaways from the pricing is the field's not very good, right? And so because the field's not very good, I think a lot of these guys are inherently overpriced. You got to give Straka, Grillo, Thomas, Cam. By the way, Thomas being 9,300 in this field is so laughable. Woodland, Jaeger, those 8K guys, Cam Young, they're all overpriced simply because they are the betting favorites compared to such a weak field, right? So that really is going to play a lot of strategy into who I play at DraftKings. I have to imagine people are going to go back to Finau, even though he's playing like garbage, just because, let me ask you this, who the hell else are you going to spend your money on? Matsuyama, M, Finau, Young. None of those guys, in my opinion, are playing well. Cam Young is starting to show some signs. So is M. Decky's spinning his wheels, but I still think Tony Finau is a better choice than all of those guys. Just gut instinct, right? Grillo and Straka, Aberg, they all make sense, but they're overpriced, so people are going to have to weigh that difference in it. And then from there, the 7K range, 7,900 to 7,500, I just think it's going to be chalk central, and I'm not going to lie to you, I'm probably going to get in there. Let there be a weather edge. Let there be a weather edge. That's it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Don't forget, be back Wednesday, 7 o'clock, Lord's Time Zone for the stream, so you can have everything you need to know before you make your lineups. It's been real. We'll talk to you soon. Enjoy this outro, you motherfather.